Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Midweek Mayhem. I am your host, Father of Trades. Here with me, I have my good friend Moji, and
Hey,
we're going to talk about quite a bit of interesting things today. Number one, I think, the biggest thing that we have to talk about is, we definitely have to talk about Wendy's today, right? We got to
yeah.
talk about Wendy's. We also need to talk about, um, in addition to Wendy's, we're going to be talking a little bit about the repercussions of SpaceX and the historic IPO. We are also going to be discussing Fermi a little bit, expectations for Micron earnings this evening, as well as expectations for BlackBerry earnings tomorrow morning. So Micron is going to be reporting after the bell today. Um, BlackBerry is going to be reporting before the bell tomorrow. So these today is like your last chance to position on the options chain for these. Um, and realistically, it's your last chance to kind of like if you wanted to size up on any position, this is probably your last chance to really be able to do so with any kind of significant size.
Mhm.
So, um, I guess where should we start, man? I mean, where do you want to start? Do you want to just start with the broader market, or like what are you
Yeah,
thinking?
I think the broader market might be a kind of a good place to begin. We've seen like the market doing so well this year, and everyone's made a lot of money or on paper. The people that sold obviously or had options and stuff, and they sold them. They did extremely well, but I think for the long term investors, it's a bumpy ride right now.
It's been a
There's no
bumpy ride.
and it's kind of what me and you had talked about in the past that you got to expect the volatility. You got to embrace the volatility. And if a good stock you see gets destroyed, buy it and then wait for it to dip more if it does, and then buy more. That's kind of what I've been
Absolutely.
doing. And but I feel like a lot of people also don't recognize the risk that this market can pose, because we could be at the beginning of a bigger downturn. I don't think we're going to go into like a recession or anything, but I
I
think
don't think
that
so.
it's good to position yourself into a place to know that, hey, the market can go down another 10, 15, 20% potentially in the next couple of months, and be ready for that, like
Be
have
safe.
cash on the side, like don't just go all
Absolutely.
in right now, because you know we don't really know. This market is it's we're entering an unknown territory, basically.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what's going to happen, and you see companies flying, but you see them tanking at the same time. So I think that I don't want to call it a meme market, but like we're in a crazy market for sure.
It's
So
it's it's definitely a little bit of a meme market. And good morning, sunspots. Good
yeah.
morning, sunspots. We said it back, right? There's sunspots in the chat. Good morning, say it back. Love that. So great to have you with us. Yeah, I largely agree. Right. Some of these valuations are getting a little bit crazy. Do I think that this thing is going to crash? No. Could it? Sure. Right. So we always want to kind of keep that in mind, especially if you are, just kind of like all in on the indices and you're just kind of holding, right? Like you said, it's been a little bit of a bumpy ride for buy and hold long-term investors. Um, we have we have certainly seen volatility, which is something that long-term investors don't necessarily want to see.
Mhm.
But it has been really good for trading, right? It's been
Yeah,
really good for trading.
that's true.
So, this year, like most of my gains have come from trading rather than holding, which is crazy because normally that's just not the case, right? Normally, I make a lot more just buying and holding. Um, but things have been a little bit crazy. Things have been a little bit crazy. So I have the Nasdaq CFD chart marked out here with a few different things. So what I was looking for today was a cross above these two green lines, and what I was expecting is if we were able to cross over them, that we would see, some significant movement upwards. Now, as you could see, we came up and we just kind of rejected off of it. For those of you that are not familiar with all my lines, these are liquidity levels. So these are areas that we could expect to act as support and resistance, right? These are areas with a significant trading
Does it say
positioning.
death down there?
It does say death down there. Now, let me explain the death box. So the death box is the point where if we break into it and then break out of the bottom of the death box, that is where you will see a mechanically driven sell off,
Mhm.
right? This is the point where you will see all of the longs, you know, like delever themselves, and you will see a
Margin
large sell
calls and
off. Yeah,
everything that we
margin
don't
calls,
see.
right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna see a crazy move down. So yeah, this is the death box. The last time that we drew out the death box was actually right here, and we never got to get there. Like we were close,
Was that in
close.
like March 31st?
Yeah, it was around there. So I
Yeah.
had my death box at that point drawn
That
out
was
at
the first time. Yeah. It
like
was
22,396.
whew, that was quite the dip that
Yeah, but we never got to the death box. So
no.
now, I I feel comfortable enough saying that, hey, we do have an area, right, where if we hit it, we are going to see basically death, right? Death of the markets.
Yeah.
You're going to see a massive drop, and just kind of waiting to see what happens. Like we're literally in the middle of this big like consolidation. So this could really flip either way, especially with all of the Fed data that's coming out tomorrow. Um,
We have the CPI coming out or
no, so it's a PCE, the finalized GDP print, and then also unemployment claims are all
oh
dropping
wow.
at 8:30 a.m. Eastern,
That's a
so
lot of data.
5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard. Yeah, it's a lot of information, man. Um, and maybe we'll get some more information on all the task forces, right? That Warsh was talking about.
Yes.
I swear, man, you can make a drinking game out of him saying task force. That was just fucking nonstop.
Do
Did
we
you?
live in like some sort of like fantasy land these days with what's going on in the and
Yes,
everything? It's like
yes, we
I feel like
do.
stuff's wild. It's a whole new market. But like I think it goes back to your point. We're kind of in like a no man's land until tomorrow because the
Yeah,
clarity that might bring. Even after that, we still might be in a no man's land. But I think that death point that you have on the chart. It's like that is a crucial point. And to be honest, like I wouldn't mind if the market got crushed because I have a lot of stocks that I'm looking at that I'm like, I would buy the heck out of them if it
but
did.
it's just too expensive. Yeah, I agree. I totally
You're
agree.
saying that it has to go down like 50% for you to even be interested. And we don't want that to happen. So
Yeah,
I see your point there.
yeah.
We're kind of like trapped, like kind of near the top, but like, it's getting a little like, a little
It's a
scary.
little shaky, right? Like we're running into some resistance. I mean, we've bounced off of this resistance. Let's see, one time, two times, three times.
Right.
So like we
Thinking
just
there's going to
keep
be a
tapping
rally and
it.
we're going to keep hit new highs, and then it just rejected it.
Yeah, dude, it's like edging, right? Like you're so close. You're so close to getting your nut, man, and then it just stops, right? It's like, nope. So it's we're in a
And
really interesting
eventually it'll
spot,
just
man.
go boom, like that'll be great. I
Yeah,
hope.
right. We're in a really interesting spot where
But
where this could
with
flip either way. Um
I
and
think the
so
earnings we see today after the micron earnings that we had talked about before, I think that's going to potentially sway the way the market might go a little bit because that's kind of like
absolutely.
so we're gonna that's gonna be really big. So
So speaking of Micron, right? So chips have been in focus lately, and specifically digital memory, right?
mhm.
So we got some interesting news on digital memory in general, where I don't know if you saw this, but the I think it was the minister of finance, basically for South Korea, said that he regrets approving a bunch of single stock ETFs surrounding like SK Hynix and Samsung.
Yeah, SanDisk or something or Samsung.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
you mean like
Samsung.
the Korean stocks then? Like you're talking about specifically stocks that they have out there.
Well, yeah, over there, right? Like
Yes.
where he would approve them. So
Mhm.
we had that happen, and then what I think is really interesting is like this potentially um this potentially can pull back. Now I want to preface all of this. Okay, I want to preface all of this by saying that I think that Micron is a very strong company. I think that for the foreseeable future, there is going to be insane demand for digital memory.
Hmm.
Okay. However, despite that, and despite the massive backlog that Micron has, there are some production, concerns that I have, right? Like, they're breaking ground on a new facility in Syracuse that is not expected to be done with construction and producing like, the very, very first round of chips until 2030. Now, in order for them to get to like their full production capacity that they're planning on reaching, we're going to be waiting till 2035.
Now,
So
is that
so we're
priced in though? Like that's the
but
kind
that's the question, right?
yeah,
Is it
question.
priced in? I mean, I don't know that it's priced in because like
Some of it is maybe, but I mean, it has gone up fast, but it's still fairly valued. But they have to execute almost perfectly in order for it to continue to go up.
absolutely. And I think that there's potential for this thing to drop down a little bit and come down like towards this 900 area. Like I don't think that that would be the craziest thing to happen, right? And I
Yes.
suspect that they're going to beat on revenue. I suspect that they're going to beat on earnings per share unless they have been just investing an absolute ton of money like upfront into these facilities. But they've pledged something like $500 billion over the next 10 years to build out these facilities. So, you know, I I don't know, man. I could really see it going either way. I I have a little bit of Micron stock, but I'm also right now holding some of the MUZ, which is the 2 times short ETF. The
That
reason that
that's
I
gonna print hard if it goes down.
if it
Like,
goes down, that'll print
yeah.
hard. And the reason that I'm holding that as opposed to like any kind of put options is because in the event that if that they double beat right on their earnings report this evening, and this thing starts flying up in after hours, I don't want to be stuck in a position with some really expensive put options where I can't exit,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Um,
that's good.
and also, I think that when it comes to like scalping or doing like a single day trade or something, it makes sense to use those levered single stock ETFs. Obviously, like they aren't designed to hold. You shouldn't sit there and hold them and use it as a proxy for the stock, right? Like that's not how those are intended to be used. And if you do that, you're going to blow yourself up.
I
But
I bought one recently. I bought a Rocket Lab reverse inverse ETF and it went to like 140 around $2 and now it's trading at like 350 or something. So it's
yeah,
those things can be great if you get in at the right time, obviously. But like you said, don't hold that thing for too long because it's kind of more of a short-term play when the stock price goes up too fast and you can see that it's going to probably come down really quick. Then that's a really good
absolutely.
time to get in those type. But yeah, no, I agree with that.
So
That's I think that's smart. I think that's really
so that's how I'm playing Micron earnings, right? Like again, I have the long term investment, right, that I entered when you started making all that noise and calling it out, you know. Actually a little bit after that, right? Because
Dude,
I
even
just
if you bought any time, like there was such you had such a runway to
so
keep to
many
buy
times,
it,
bro.
and
So
like
many
even
times.
3 6 months ago, it was a screaming buy, but it looked so toppy then, and
Absolutely.
people keep calling the top on Micron, and then it just keeps going up. But memory traditionally is like a cyclical thing, so it's like it can't it'll do good and then it'll come back down. It'll do good, but since this AI cycle is so
I'd
big,
say I don't think it's cyclical
it
anymore.
may not be cyclical this time.
So
It might.
so it, it
Yeah.
it's been cyclical in the past because you really only need it when you are kind of moving into like the next generation of like compute,
Mhm.
but we are constantly moving into the next generation now, right? These cycles are getting quicker and quicker,
Yep.
and like data centers, they're not cyclical. They're
No,
going to be around. They're going to be a part of like our everyday life.
100%.
So I
100%.
I don't see a world where Micron like does poorly over the
Like
long
goes all the
term.
way back down to like 200 a share or
That's
something.
not happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. I saw some, and I don't have a nicer way to put this, but I saw some idiot on Stock Twits that was talking about, oh, Micron's going to go back down to 400, and I was like, I'm leaning a little bit bearish into the earnings. Like, I think the earnings
But
are going to
like,
be stellar, but brother,
800
that's not
is like
fucking
the
happening.
lowest.
I would be surprised to see 800,
Yeah,
right?
like
900,
that's like doom right there, you
yeah,
know?
900, maybe not so shocked.
Yeah.
800, like, dude, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I'm
And
saying
don't
that's
get
like
me
worst
wrong,
case, but like
dude, if
400, no, that's not, it's not gonna happen,
it's not happening. Like, it's not happening. And even if it went to 800, like, dude, don't get me wrong, I would be ecstatic for two reasons. I would be ecstatic for number one, because my levered 2x short ETF would print me like 40%, right? 40 to 45%.
And
That
you
would be a
and
great
you could
trade.
buy the dip.
And number two, then I would use all those profits and I would buy fucking Micron.
Because it would
Like,
double in a year,
yeah, because
like
it's gonna be at 800. Like, dude,
yeah,
if this thing went to
yeah.
800, then that's a gift in two different
It's
ways.
gonna split too. That's another like mechanic of the market where when
Mhm.
a stock price goes way too high, like Nvidia did before, and it went and it goes up so fast, they just split the stock. And I mean that sometimes it'll help it, sometimes it doesn't, but
What
it brings the stock price back down to earth a little bit.
it does, and it makes it a little bit more palatable to,
Mhm.
like, retail investors,
Correct.
right? But I think that more than anything, the effect of those stock splits is generally that, like, obviously the float and the shares outstanding get a lot chunkier, right? So
Mhm.
they move a lot slower.
Correct.
And that's something that we certainly would want to watch out for, right? A lot of people have been enjoying the volatility. I mean, we see that this thing is constantly gapping up and down, and having that chunkier float supply, that could potentially dampen some of that volatility down, to
Mhm.
where it's going to be more of like a boring kind of boring mover,
Like what happened with Nvidia, kind of like it went to like 1,000 a share or whatever, and then it split, and then from since then it's not been as exciting. It hasn't been on that parabolic trajectory. Well, obviously the market cap has gotten so high that it's not going to just go
Correct.
backwards, but it's like it's not as exciting when you don't see your company going like up that fast. You want to, but I mean, at the same time, you're invested in a great company, so then you
Absolutely.
shouldn't be stressed at all about it.
I mean, and it's a great company generally. Like, if they are in a position where they can split their stock in general, right? Like, the company's doing well.
They're doing something right. Yep.
They're doing something right, right? Like, we can look at Walmart and just look at how many times Walmart split their
Oh,
stock.
man.
Like, dude, that's you want to talk about like a legendary
It would be like
amount
what, like
of stock
30,
splits.
40, 50K a share probably if it didn't split,
Oh
like
yeah, dude, it would be literally impossible to buy. I mean, like, it would just be way too much. No
and
retail
it's
would
how
ever
it's
be
what, like a
interested in it.
70 or something. Walmart, it's funny. I
Yeah,
mean,
like,
splits trip me out because like you'll buy a stock 5 years ago and then you'll be like, wait, what's the stock price again? Oh yeah, it's split three times, in between that, and then
literally. Something interesting. I think it's today. I think CoreWeave, uh, or rather, last night they announced it. I think, but CoreWeave is going to be splitting.
really,
Um, I'm not big on CoreWeave, but I think it's interesting that they're splitting.
why would they? I thought, but their stock price isn't even doing that great. Like it's doing
Uh,
okay, but like aren't they're pretty off their all-time highs? I think they're even off the
they
50.
are.
Yeah, like they're like at least I would say like 30%, 40% maybe off the highs, right?
It's an interesting. Yeah, they are. So actually, yeah, yeah, just about 45% or so. So
Yeah, that's
I
pretty.
think
It's
it's
yeah,
an interesting move to do that here, right?
yeah. They're
I
splitting it.
They're splitting. Yeah, I think they're doing a 4-to-1.
That's it. Very interesting. I don't know.
And these guys don't do anything but lose money. Like, they have increasing revenue, but they're also spending more to get it.
But
So, like, they just
Nvidia, because Nvidia are gonna keep. I'm just saying, like, I know I get it, but I'm just also like, you have to get the risk too, like you said. It's like you got to understand the business.
absolutely. And it's funny with like the Nvidia and CoreWeave relationship, right? Because the way that I've always viewed it is, if you had, like, let's say you had an extension cord, right? and then
Mhm.
you just took it and you plugged it into itself. That's that's the relationship that NVIDIA and CoreWeave have,
That's
okay? Where
funny,
it's
but it's
just it's this
true.
fucking
I can't
circular.
deny anything you're saying, dude.
It I mean, it just it is what it is,
Yeah,
right? And regardless of how we feel about it, it's true, right? That's the
yeah.
best way that I could describe it. Um, so I think that I think that there's some really interesting discussions to be had around splitting this. I personally, again, I'm not the biggest fan of CoreWeave. I do understand that they occupy a pretty unique spot in the AI like supply chain in general, but it's just not something that I'm interested in. Um,
I'm a
we'll see
I'm
what
a
happens.
NBIS guy, not a CoreWeave guy,
I
just
like Inbis a lot more.
yeah.
I think Nebius is a much better run business.
And I just like, yeah, like look, I'm a long-term holder, and I don't care if it goes low or high. I'm just gonna hold it and hold it and hold it. And I think long-term I'll do great on them.
I was about to say, I think that if you're holding Inbis and you're going to sit in it for the next decade or so,
For
I
sure.
mean, like these guys are doing everything right to install themselves into that supply chain um, in a really big way. So I want to shift gears a little bit to the meme, right? To the meme
Ooh,
of the day, which is
meme. Oh,
Wendy's. Now,
perfect ingredients, right? For the short squeeze, like the perfect Wendy's spice mix to make the short squeeze happen. Oh,
so Wendy's has been in decline for a long time, right? Like all jokes aside, I know that we can make a million jokes off of the name, right? The Wendy's nuts, right? And fucking
I mean,
people have
last
talked
time I
about
went
the
there, my stomach
tendies.
hurt, so I haven't gone to Wendy's in years, to be honest.
So
So,
I went to Wendy's. The last time I went to Wendy's was actually on my way up back from Coronado,
oh,
right?
really?
Yeah, and I stopped, and dude, like it was just overpriced. Like the food was very okay, right? Like
Yeah.
it's Wendy's, right? It's
I'd rather
fast
go to
food.
Taco Bell or even like McDonald's or something,
Well,
dude.
I
Like,
mean, here in California, like we have In and Out, so why
oh,
would we
heck
even
yeah.
bother
No,
going?
yeah.
But
And
I
I'm
would
saying
rather go to
any of those. I'm saying
McDonald's.
like, yeah,
I'll get the same food for half the fucking price. So
yeah.
Wendy's has been in decline for quite a while.
Hmm.
There are some long-term debt concerns, right? They have been closing a bunch of stores, which, in all fairness, like it makes sense to have more of a lean business model, but it's not a great thing when you're doing it because of lack of demand,
Yeah.
right? Which is what Wendy's
Not
is
like
seeing.
reorganizing. They're just closing.
They're
They're not
just
like,
closing because they literally cannot afford to keep them open.
yes.
So
Yeah.
it's not like a restructuring of the
Yeah.
company,
Hmm.
right? Um, it is literally these guys are not making the money that they need to stay open. So last month they appointed a new CEO. Uh, Next month they are going to make it official. They just announced that there's going to be a new CFO, and I'm seeing like a lot of chatter around Wendy's where people are like, "Oh, well, this new CFO, like maybe this guy can turn it all around." And I just want to make sure that everyone understands like what the CFO's role is, right? So they're head of accounting, right? They manage the money, right? They're the chief
Yep.
financial officer. They are not going out and testing the products.
You're not
They're not
marketing.
creating products. They're
Yeah.
not marketing.
Nope.
All they do is they give the budget for marketing. They allocate that budget,
Yeah.
right? So, these guys aren't going to be in a position where like he's going to be able to just change everything around on his own. I mean, that's just unrealistic. So, like, I think it's a really interesting kind of trade here though, right? Where like what I did is I scalped calls in the morning. I'm currently holding on to some weekly puts with just a very small percentage of the profits from the calls that I scalped, because I fully expect this thing to go down. Like, does it happen this week? I don't know, right? The meme
It
stock
could bubble
runs.
again and then
It
tank.
could.
Yeah.
It absolutely could, right?
Yep.
And that's why I'm only doing it with like a portion of the proceeds from scalping the calls this morning. But like fundamentally, this business is very weak,
Hmm.
right? This business is very weak. Um, the thing that it really has going for it right now is the hype, which seems to be somewhat dying down a little bit, at least from like the fervor of in pre-market and like on open. Um, and there is elevated short interest, right? It's 35% short. So like,
I I feel like, in general, these type of companies, fast food companies, I invested in Yum Food Groups in the past, and I mean I think that's a really good company in my opinion. And I recently they sold Pizza Hut to like a Japanese company. So I'm
mhm,
these type of companies, they have to make strategic moves at the right time to survive. They have to do the right things. And they redid Taco Bell as well. They like redid the whole man. I like Taco Bell sometimes. I don't mind it in the sense
absolutely,
that they put like new flavors in there, new products, loud marketing. Those are the things
absolutely.
that keep these companies alive. I think Wendy's is just dying off and no one really cares at
No
this.
one gives a shit. Yeah,
Yeah, and no one
like
cares. Even the people running the business, they're just like, they don't
they're
know
just
what.
taking a paycheck, bro.
Yeah, they're
Like
just
they
taking
they
their
don't
money.
care. They're
They know this thing's gonna probably fail at the
if
end or
they
go
if
bankrupt.
they if they believed in the company that much, they'd be buying it right now.
Yep, yep. And they don't see that. And the people that are buying it are trying to make a quick buck. And more power to them.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. I mean, I
is it
made a quick little buck this morning. It
it was
wasn't
trading it.
huge,
I
but
saw it at like what? It was hit like 8, almost $9 or something this
oh,
morning.
dude, it went wild this morning. I mean, in all fairness, it didn't really stay there, but it was there for like a good 6 or 7 minutes.
I saw it
Um,
yesterday, people talking about it on X all over, and I was like, and then I saw it, and I could have probably bought it around like six something or something, or $7 this morning, and made a quick 30%, 25%. But you have to just be really good at timing the market too, which is
I was
something
about
that
to
I'm
say,
like,
I held for literally like 5 minutes and made 40%, and
beautiful.
I was fine with that, right?
Yeah,
And then when I saw it start to
off
kind of sell
Wendy's,
off,
bro.
yeah,
Just
it's Wendy's.
Wendy's for life, like no problem
Get your
there.
tendies, bro, your chicken tendies. So
Yeah.
the thing is to like kind of going back to what you're saying about some of these fast food brands, right?
Mhm,
There are teams that are doing this incredibly well. So, for instance, let's look at McDonald's, right?
mhm.
McDonald's sees that their sales are starting to decline. What do? Immediately they say, "You know what? We're gonna bring back
Apple
some of
pie,
the like the value
apple
stuff,
pie.
right?
Yeah,
We're gonna bring back some of the value stuff, right? We're gonna give deals." Uh, they did like a discount happy hour between lunch and dinner, basically on DoorDash for months, right? Like they
smart.
are recognizing that affordability is one of the big things that is leading to a loss in revenue,
Mhm.
right? So McDonald's was quick to recognize that, and they've been kind of like transitioning and having launching a few different initiatives to provide like a better value, right? Bang for your buck. And I think that is really, really strong, right?
Yes.
Because you don't want to have to go to Wendy's. You shouldn't be paying fucking, almost $40 for two combo meals for some pretty
And it's
mediocre food. Like,
mid food, yeah,
yeah,
no,
bro, like you could go to a sit down restaurant and get a
and get
better
a
deal,
nice
right?
meal, yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
mean,
no
even a shitty one, right? Like you could go over to like Applebee's. I think that they have, like
like a
they
happy
normally have
hour,
some
get
kind
a
of
drink
deal,
and a
right?
nice meal and
Exactly, and you can get that
watch
for
a
the same
game, yeah,
price.
no, yeah, you're
So
right, dude,
so
I
like
agree with that
what benefit does Wendy's have, right?
thing right now, unfortunately.
Um, and it's funny because every time that I drive past Wendy's, like these places look like fucking ghost towns.
They're dead. Even
They're
I live in
dead, man.
near Pacific Beach, which is like a prime area in SD, like tourists coming in and out. Like you would expect at least the Wendy's here to have people in it because it's like random people from all over the world. And it's
Nope.
empty, empty, empty. And it's been sitting there. Like I see this restaurant been sitting there for 10 years. And like I swear I've never seen anyone in the parking lot. Like I'm just like, how does it even survive? It's just a failing, like it's just failing.
Yeah. So I think that, if you're trading Wendy's, like have your fun. Sure, have your fun. But realize that you are playing musical chairs and you need to make sure that you have a seat when the music stops,
That's true. Mhm.
right? When the
'Cause it's
when the
going to
music's
stop.
going,
It's
it's going
going
to stop eventually.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to attempt to tell you what day it's going to stop. I don't know. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 2 weeks from now.
No, you're right.
But at some point, this is going to die. And I don't know if that's
And people see it, oh yeah, why is a P ratio 8, and people that don't understand, the mechanics of the market, oh, Wendy's is a good value, blah blah blah. It's like
it's a
it's a
value
value
trap.
trap. Yeah, there you go, value
That's
trap.
that thing's a value trap, man.
Exactly.
So I'm not like the biggest fan, right? I'm not the biggest fan of their
It's a
food.
good it's good like for a good in and out, like not to use point puns, but just to get in and out, and get out of there. Or if you want to short it, like you said, at the like once it pumps really hard, if you buy some puts or short it, you might do fantastic with that. So
Absolutely. Like, dude, if this thing, let's say that this thing went to like, I don't know, just throwing out a number, right? Let's say it doubles from here, it goes to 14. Like, dude, I am going to buy so many at the money puts that are like 6 months out, and I'm
it's
just gonna
free money,
fucking wait
right?
because that's
It's
free
free
money.
money.
That's
Yeah,
free money,
it is.
absolutely.
It is.
So play the momentum, and just realize that over the mid and long term, like this thing is going to drop. I
Probably.
can I can almost guarantee it. I mean, nothing is certain in the markets, right?
I don't
You
see
can
who's gonna come in and save Wendy right now, like Wendy's, and you know what I'm saying. I don't because like you said, if
I don't
people
think so.
were thinking there was a turnaround story, they'd be buying the stock, the people who own the company, and they're not. They're staying
Absolutely.
away from
Like
it.
you would see the C-suite buying the shit out of it because they know that they're about to unveil something big. Now there is like a take private offer. I think it's Nelson. What is his name? Nelson Punts or something like that. Anyways, like so that there is
Like
maybe
some
something there,
some
but
silver
it's
lining, hope on the horizon, but I
I
don't
don't
know.
know, man. I don't
Why
know.
would they even want to buy it? Like as an investor, why would you be like Wendy's? It doesn't even
To
have like
to
the appeal of Blockbuster or something that made you really. I mean, I don't see the nostalgia from Wendy's as much. Like you know what I'm saying? So
no. And I think that there is one reason that maybe you'd want to buy it. And it is like a corporate raider kind of move, right? Where you buy it to literally sell off all of the assets and
mm,
basically just dismantle it completely and liquidate it, right?
that
Because
yeah,
if you can,
that would
yeah,
make sense.
so that's something that potentially can happen, right? That would be reminiscent of like Carl Icahn, um, or uh, Bill Ackman in certain parts of his career, right?
I
So
believe with these like franchises, Wendy's owns the land of every single Wendy's. So that's
I
how
think
I.
so.
So they don't own like the building, like that's like the
That's the
person who
owner
has
operator.
the franchisee, the person who runs it, the
Yeah.
operator. They own the building, but the land, all that Wendy's land, which honestly, when you go around different cities, there's Wendy's everywhere still. You know what I'm saying?
There's
Even
there's
though
prime
they're dead.
locations there.
Yeah, and
That's what I'm
they're
saying. Like there's
good real
there
estate.
there is value,
Mhm.
but it's being misused.
Correct.
So I think that this might be something where it would make sense for one of these corporate raider types to come in and again, right, dismantle everything. Just start closing all the locations, cutting off all those franchisee contracts, and begin to like slowly just kind of dismantle the company and sell it off piece by piece, right?
Yeah, yeah,
um,
and then it
so
could come back as something else one day, in the sense of like
absolutely.
it could be revived, not as Wendy's, but as another beast of a fast food chain. So
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much covers Wendy's, right? I
it's
mean,
interesting, but it's
it's
also
interesting.
it's just crazy to think these companies that we or these businesses when we were kids were so big, and now 30 years later it's like they don't exist, and it just kind of tells you the cyclical nature of the stock market from every industry, from
Yeah,
fast food all the way to
absolutely.
tech stuff.
You
It's like
know, let's talk about one from when we were younger that is actually making a comeback though.
BlackBerry.
We gotta talk about BlackBerry, bro.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
So BlackBerry has earnings Thursday morning, tomorrow morning, and I am bullish here, right? Like I really, you and I have talked about this. I've talked about this on a number of different shows and podcasts, and I really am a believer in BlackBerry, right? I think that these guys are doing things right. So QNX recently it was announced officially by Nvidia, none, no
Mhm.
less, that in their new physical AI uh, product, right? That platform that they're launching, this initiative for physical AI and robotics, that QNX, which is BlackBerry's, basically software platform, it is going to be the structural backbone of the software of their physical AI.
Oh, wow.
So when I'm looking at BlackBerry and I'm looking at the potential between vehicles, between heavy equipment construction, right? Or rather, heavy equipment construction, equipment. We're looking at like, factories. We're looking at potentially like nuclear plants, right? Like the possibilities for QNX are quite endless. And I just don't see a world where it doesn't scale up tremendously. Now, what gets reported tomorrow? Well, I don't know that we're going to see all of these things translate into immediate revenue. I suspect that they're going to beat. And the reason that I suspect they're going to beat is because they always fucking do. Literally, look at this. Beat,
Yeah,
beat, beat, beat. They have beat every single fucking earnings expectation since September of 2018 when
that's pretty
TradingView started
wild.
tracking it.
Like that's like you would not have expected that from BlackBerry.
8 years of beats. They are profitable. They turn a profit, okay, and they're like basically signing up with a bunch of really big contracts with larger tech companies, right?
Well,
Um,
like
so
when you look at like these type of companies, I feel like the AI revolution has kind of reinvigorated them in a lot of ways, and that's
it,
we have
it
to,
it
we have to
breathes new
say.
life into them. Absolutely,
Yes. We have to see them differently. We can't look at them like the old BlackBerry, like the BlackBerry we think about with the phone where you have the flip phone or whatever. I mean, the company's so much more than that. And
it's evolved.
when you dig deeper into it and you research it, you realize that some of the technology they have could be a very big part of the AI revolution. And that's where it's like
Absolutely,
the potential is like IBM was another one that I was looking at the quantum sum that they had done, and I was like, IBM is not that cool of a company. I bought some shares at like $250 the other day, and it had a good pop to it. But I was just thinking about how these old companies are really coming back strong, and you
absolutely.
have to see what they're doing. And with BlackBerry, they're doing some cool stuff right now.
They
I got
are. And
yeah.
it's there's an old quote, right? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Hmm.
So these companies literally have to innovate or they will die, right?
Hmm.
We're seeing a bunch of companies that were once titans kind of reinvent themselves. I mean, look at what Intel has done.
Oh my God, I was about to
Intel Intel was
say
dead money, dude. It
dead, like
was dead money for
$8 a
20
share or something.
years.
Like
20 years. If you bought Intel 20 years ago,
you would have just been sitting on
you
nothing.
didn't even break even
Oh
until
man.
fucking this year.
But then it went 10x. So you
But then
can't,
it 10x.
yeah,
Yeah, but then it goes 10x. So it's like,
Michael Moore, like it's not done yet.
yeah,
It's
so
pretty crazy.
it's just kind of one of those things, right? Where you have to recognize that trend early and
Mhm.
and really again dig at what's going on. And with Intel, it really didn't it's not like it came out of nowhere, right? Like all the signs were there, right?
Yes.
They get a new CEO. Okay, so number one, they get a new CEO. New CEO says we are going to uh, pivot super hard, and we are going to focus on making chips for all the big AI players, right? We're going to set up the foundry,
They
like
have the fabs,
like
right? Which is like
yeah,
the
yeah, the
all the
big
fabs in the
big
US.
chip fabricators, right?
That's massive. It's like the
So
TSMC of the US, basically.
absolutely,
Yeah, which is
absolutely.
huge. Oh
So
yeah.
they have pivoted, from being that company that just makes CPUs into a company that creates microprocessors, like
Yeah.
just absolutely every part that you need.
And the
So
margins are better for them for that, so
the
they're
margins are much better,
yeah,
and they're more universally applicable,
for
right?
sure.
Because there was an issue, and I'm not going to get like completely into it, but there was maybe a little bit of an issue with running the business just off of the CPUs because GPUs in modern day computers, even like the computers that we're on right now, GPUs um, do most of the work, right? They
100%.
take on a lot of that load of like the processing load, right?
Correct. Yes.
So it makes sense from a business standpoint to I mean, obviously they still make CPUs, but they've shifted away largely, and now they are kind of expanding into making all these other kinds of chips. So like for Intel, that really made sense,
Hmm.
and with BlackBerry, I'm seeing them reinvent themselves in a new way. Now QNX has existed for a long time.
Hmm.
It literally it was created in the 80s originally,
Wow.
and it it was kind of this like speculative thing that BlackBerry bought, and it wasn't really useful for a long time. But that was because QNX, the usefulness of QNX scales directly with the complexity of the machines that
Hmm.
it's running, right? So if you have like a really simple basic machine, QNX probably not necessary. If you have something like robotics, if you have a car with a bunch of software in it, if you have factory equipment that needs to either be super precise, like down to the millimeter in terms of precision, right? Shaving iron down to a very specific uh, like thickness, right? Or you have something where it's imperative that safety comes first, such as like in heavy equipment, right? Then QNX is a godsend to you
Hmm.
and your business. Um, and
And that's going on
BlackBerry,
right now. That revolution that that you're kind of speaking about, it's happening as we speak. So
absolutely. So
that's
as
why
as
it's golden right now.
as all these things become more complex and they become more mainstream and they become more needed,
Hmm.
QNX is QNX is
It's going to
literally
go exponentially
like
more important and more.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, this is like the big turnaround story. I think this is one of the big turnaround stories of 2026. And realistically, the writing's been on the wall a lot longer. I just didn't see it, right? Because I never looked.
Oh my god, I got in so early and then I sold it.
I know, dude. I
I know
know.
I'm looking for re-entry. I mean, I think I still have like a few hundred shares. I know it's a really small position, but it's like, hey man, it's something better than nothing. You know what I mean? And like,
Absolutely.
I really believe what you're saying about these companies reviving up, and I really think that like we're gonna see the revival and the death of a lot of these older companies, and it's like it's up to us and up to other people to do the research and to figure out the ones to buy and the ones not to buy, and that's kind of where we're
Absolutely.
at. So yeah.
And with BlackBerry, like I can comfortably say that I recommend it to. Well, I don't give financial advice, but I do talk about it to everyone, and tell them, hey, like you need to go look into QNX, right? So I've gotten a good chunk of friends, and you know people that I would consider colleagues, other traders to take a look, and everyone after they dig in and they really start looking at what QNX is and what it does, dude, they're
Mhm.
fucking sold on it. They love it. They love this stock. So I'm very comfortable in saying that, I'm locked in for the next year and a half, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
have $10 calls for January 27, and then I have some $10 and $15 calls for January 2028.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm also swinging $10 calls for July going into earnings tomorrow.
That's I mean another
So
thing it
like I'm
reminds you
balls deep on
of
BlackBerry. I love
is
this stock.
is Nokia stock too. That one's been popping
Absolutely.
up like similarly, like old phone provider, old phone manufacturer.
Mhm.
Now they're pivoting to a more of an AI infrastructure, an AI play.
Absolutely. They're doing the AI
So,
they're doing AI basically like data transmission.
mhm,
So
mhm.
it's a really strong case for Nokia as well. I mean, personally
And
I'm
both
not
these
holding
companies I think
Nokia,
are doing
but
good.
but
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that. And to be honest with you, like, dude, I kind of half-ass miss when phones were like the old Nokia phones.
Yeah, me too. It's
Dude,
simpler.
dude.
Just make the
Well, it was
call.
simple, and dude, I put that thing through hell, and it
You drop
lasted for
that thing
like
on the
6
floor.
years. So when I was a kid, right? Just side
Yeah,
note. Okay, when I was a kid, I used to do BMX, right? And like that thing fell out of my pocket. It fell into a fucking creek that I was jumping over. It fell out of my pocket and got run over by a truck. Like I got mad one time and I fucking hucked it at a tree, right? I dropped it in water. Like, dude,
indestructible.
you name it, it happened.
Yeah,
And this thing just worked the whole time. It worked
that's
the whole
awesome.
time.
Yeah, why can't they make an iPhone like that? They probably can. They just don't want to, you know?
Well, then how are you going to why would you buy the new one?
Right? Because you're as indestructible. No, you're totally right. They want you. That's what Apple's trick is.
Well,
Just
that's
keep wanting
that's
you to buy their new stuff,
that's a lot of companies'
bricking
tricks,
your old
right?
phone.
Like
No,
they
but you're right.
absolutely.
These old products are hardy, and that's something that like it's cool to see these companies come back because we
It
we
is.
we grew up on these companies. So to see them and
Absolutely.
be able to invest in them now and make money and to see them come back is just so cool in my
I mean,
opinion.
I remember BlackBerry, when I was a kid, uh, I was a teenager and BlackBerry up until the iPhone came out, man, like
That was
BlackBerry was
a
the
cool
business
thing.
phone
Yeah,
and
you
it
were like
was the
all
phone that people were
BlackBerry.
using.
They would have rap songs about the BlackBerry back then.
Yo, literally, bro, literally.
That's wild.
But yeah, so it's really cool to see them coming back with QNX and
100%,
I
dude. No, I think that's a
I
good I
I
think that's a great analysis, great company, and, keep watching and keep researching about them, but long term, I think it's a great bet in my
I
opinion.
think so too. And I again like tomorrow, what do I expect? Well, I expect an earnings beat. I expect a revenue beat. And the biggest thing that I expect is I expect some stellar forward guidance,
Guidance, that's
right?
what you
Like
say.
I think that these guys are going to come out and say like, hey, this is like our iPhone moment, right? Where this is being
100%.
adopted at scale. It's being adopted across a ton of different industries. And like, this is the moment where we can definitively say that we have customers lined up. We
There
have
you go.
people that want to use this product. They want to use our software. And it's not even necessarily that they want to, they need to.
Mhm.
There is a
Like a chokehold.
need.
They have no choice,
And
that
there's and
this
and
this is yeah,
there's and there's also there's nobody that is doing this, right?
yeah.
Like this is something that is unique to BlackBerry. So you know,
Guidance is gold though now in this market.
guidance is gold, man.
Because we're all looking forward to see like what's the next step, what's the new stuff that's going to happen, what's the new stuff that's coming out. And a company can report okay earnings, but if their guidance has something really cool in it, the stock price will go bonkers. It'll keep going up because that's what
Absolutely.
matters. Or if the company has a great earnings report and their guidance sucks, the stock
They
price will
sell
be
off,
better.
dude. They sell
Yeah,
off immediately.
guidance has become the gold of the market. Like in this AI revolution, if you can guide really good and deliver, your company will do phenomenal. So
Phenomenal. Speaking of like AI infrastructure companies, wanted to take a minute and talk about Fermi.
okay, yeah,
So did you get a chance? Because I know that you and I had talked about it a little bit on the phone, maybe a few days ago or a week or so ago. Have you had the opportunity to look at Fermi?
I looked at a little bit of it. I mean, I was reading something about like a data center like water conservation plan or something like that. So I know
So
they got
these
some cool things in the works for sure.
so these guys have about 5,000 acres out in the Texas Panhandle, and what they are essentially doing is they are building a campus for data centers that is like all inclusive, right?
Oh,
So it has its own power grid. Um, like all the data centers are going to
it's like
be
a
built
city.
out.
It's like a city
Basically,
in Texas.
basically, it's
A
like
data center.
a data center city,
Yeah.
and they are going to be leasing out space and compute power to these hyperscalers,
Yeah.
right? So right now they're looking for tenants, um, and they are doing construction to like extend out, right, and build out more in this area. So when I'm looking at that, I'm like, well, that fits the theme right now, right?
Mhm,
It's really interesting. It's backed by some really really intelligent people from local universities in Texas,
mhm.
and probably the biggest thing for me,
Oh, the
right?
political connection,
It's the
right?
political connection.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the co-founders and largest shareholders is Rick Perry. Now, if you guys don't know who Rick Perry is, he is the former governor of Texas. Okay. This is all happening in Texas. This company is based in Texas. They're operating in Texas. Rick Perry is the former governor of Texas. Okay. Now, there are a lot of, again, like a lot of this is like energy production, right? Um, and Rick Perry in Trump's first administration was the Secretary of Energy. So, in my mind, who who has more connections than Rick Perry to get all of this shit approved at a federal level and
This
at the
is
state level
Texas.
in Texas?
Texas is the best place for data centers. I just want to put that out there
Absolutely, absolutely. They're
because
so
they
friendly to
have
it.
less regulation. They have so much land. It's all flat and perfect for the data centers.
Absolutely, and there's
And
nothing. There's nothing there.
it's
Like
there's
it's
nothing
just it's
there.
fucking
It's just
empty.
vast, huge. I used to live in Texas, so that's why I'm so familiar with it. But it's just like we used to go. Me and my wife used to go on road trips when we were young, and we would go for like hundreds of miles of just nothing, And I was like, man, they could build,
So
towns,
much.
cities, infrastructure, and now they're doing it with AI. And I truly believe that Texas and companies that operate in Texas are going to become the future of the AI infrastructure world. And Texas is going to be where it's at because of the regulation, the deregulation. Also, they're letting these companies
Absolutely,
come in and do what they want and thrive. And I think that's something that, unfortunately, a state like California is not doing right. With the too much regulation is causing people to flee to Texas, but Texas is going to benefit, and companies like Fermi are going to do fantastic because of the amount of demand for what they're seeing. That in the future, there's going to be a massive demand for what they're doing for the data
absolutely.
center thing, and they see that coming, and they're like, we're going to be all set up, everything's going to be ready to go, and the clients will come pouring in, and I see that's going to happen.
It's funny because you say that, and it really reminds me of the old quote, if you build it, they will come,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's true. If you build this big campus,
They
right?
will.
You build this basically AI infrastructure city, essentially. Like these companies will come. Why? Because they need it.
Yep.
They need the storage
This is a
space. They
necessity. This is
need
not
the
something
energy.
that's like a cool want. This is something the companies are going to need 100%, and
Absolutely.
they'll have nowhere to look but them at the end of the day, because it's not that many players in this game, and people that are setting up beforehand and getting all the permits and getting their stuff together, they're going to win.
Absolutely.
They're going to win big time.
And it's interesting because a lot of this is already built out, but they're still expanding it. Like they have a lot of expansion planned. And I think that when you're looking at Fermi, you should be comparing it to being in APLD very early, right? This is very much the same where with APLD, right? A lot of people didn't believe in it. A lot of people doubted it.
It was
And
sitting around like $1 for so long.
for
I
so
remember
long,
so
for so
long.
long. And you know, now anybody that doubted it, well, they were proven wrong. And anybody that longed it, well, you made a
Well, you
shit ton of
yeah,
money,
tons,
right?
man. Oh
So
man.
so I feel like buying Fermi now is like buying APLD in
What's
its
the market
infancy.
cap of Fermi again?
5.5 billion.
Yeah, so it's still like a pretty small player when it comes like
Yeah,
this data center
absolutely.
build out. It can go 10x easy, easy. Like
Easy,
that's easy,
easy.
easy. That's like probably going to happen if they execute, like, for sure, type of situation, because
Absolutely.
the demand is just too much. When I was looking at the demand for data centers, it's just it boggles my mind when people are like, it's going to
It is
go
it is
50 to
mind-blowing
100x. It's like,
in the
what?
next 10
I
years.
know, but that's
Like,
crazy,
well,
dude.
I'm saying in realistically, like 10 years, to a lot of people, oh, that sounds like a long time.
It's
In
not.
in capital markets, it's not like that.
Not.
That is that is really not that long. Like, if you're sitting twiddling your thumbs for 10 years, sure, it's going to seem like
Yeah.
a long time if you're just like literally watching the stock. But if you just buy it and forget you own it and come back 10 years later, like
Make a fortune, bro.
you
Like,
make you
yeah,
make
I
a
mean, that's
fucking
how
fortune
fortunes
doing
are made.
nothing.
That's how fortunes are made in this market. And I mean, like the AI revolution, I'm almost excited. Not excited, but I'm not sad when the market tanks. I'm looking forward to a big pullback because I want to get into some companies that I kind of like feel like I missed. But
Just buy them like crazy and
exactly.
hold.
And just hold. And I'm
Yep.
saying like, but like what you said, it's like a lot of these companies are probably not going to go down to the level you want to buy them at because there's too much people that want to there's too much demand to buy these companies as well, and the upward pressure when they dip is just, I feel like we see these dips and then people, it bounces back up every time the
Mhm.
dips are being bought, quick. So it's like, in order for us to see an actual material breakdown of this market, it's going to take something pretty big, either a black swan event or like just a lot of bad news in a row for months, that could potentially do it. But I think that overall the narrative is intact of what's going to happen in the future.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Now, I do want to switch topics just a little bit. Um, I want to talk about Reddit.
Okay.
Speaking of companies that don't go down to where you want to buy them again. So
It
this
does
thing,
briefly, right? Like it briefly gaps down and then it pops
well,
back up.
exactly, right? So like right now you can see that we're at the bottom of this range that the stock has been in since late May, right? We spent 3.5 weeks trading in this range, and you're at the very bottom of it.
Mhm.
So I think that if you haven't jumped into Reddit, right, that this is probably a decent time to do so, to be honest with you.
Could you
And I'm
quickly
not
like tell like just like our viewers out there and stuff like how because I had a friend that asked me and I wanted some your clarity on it. How does Reddit make money? Like, can you just
so
like
so a few different ways, right? A few different ways. Number one, selling ads,
mhm,
right?
of
They
course.
sell their users' eyeballs to advertisers. Now, uh, obviously, this is something that is really, really high margin. Um, you can go look at Meta's advertising and Google's advertising arm DoubleClick, and you could see like these margins are consistent. They will pay social media a lot of money to show ads. And with Reddit in particular having so many users,
Mhm,
and with the amount of time that people spend on it, that ad space goes for a premium,
mhm,
right? So that's number one, right? They
mhm.
make money by selling ad space. Um, Number two, they make money by selling data. So they sell data, 20 years, 20 plus years of data at this point, to uh, like AI firms, right? To LLMs.
So it's
So
kind of
they
like a meta, like kind of like maybe a little similar to how Meta makes their money.
it is, but I would say that like the key differentiator, the key difference, right, between
Mhm,
Reddit and Meta is that Reddit is the community, like it is the place to go to find the niche communities,
yeah, you're
right?
right.
Like if you're going on Instagram or Facebook, right, you can connect with people, you can connect with people you don't know. Yeah, sure, all of that. But you're not going to find
The
like
specific
the
knowledge
hyper
that you're looking
specific
for. Yeah,
things, right?
yeah. No,
Like
you're right.
you're super into drafting baseball, right? Fantasy baseball. You're super into it. Cool. You got a subreddit. You're
Yep.
super into drawing pictures of dragons fucking cars. Like, believe it or not, there is a r/dragons fucking cars, and
That's
it
fun.
is exactly what you think it is. It
Yeah.
is drawings,
But you're right.
handmade
It's
drawings of
that
dragons fucking
detail of
cars.
niche that and then people love it. Like you said, people that are on Reddit, I heard like they don't even use other social media as
I
much.
don't,
They
right?
just they just stay on
I
Reddit.
use
That's
I
where they
have
feel comfortable.
I have Reddit, I have Discord, and I have StockTwits, right?
Yeah.
And well, I guess YouTube kind of, right? But this is more just for recording. But like I don't watch a lot of YouTube. Um,
Mhm.
So
I do because I have kids. So
that's fair, right?
yeah.
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 No, that's fair. So I think that when we're talking about Reddit, it's important to frame it in that way, right? Where if you're like, man, I got to learn how to, fix the U trap under my sink, right? Okay, cool. Go to r/plumbers and type in U
It's
trap
true.
and it's
Oh
going
my
to be
god, I
there.
swear I would have. I've definitely looked up how to fix crap on Reddit before, and like,
Absolutely.
and it was, and it's there because it's actual user responses of being like, oh no, this is right or this is wrong. When you go to like a YouTube video, it's like you're just following what the dude says, and the dude might be completely wrong. But I'm saying for Reddit, I see the what you're saying, the details of how to do it, and then they're putting like each guy's like, I got this version of the device or this version that I need. You know what I'm saying? So that you can get very specific and you can actually
Absolutely.
get stuff done. So I do see the utility there massively. And I think that, a company like Reddit is still kind of under the radar a little bit. Like it's doing good, but it's not
It's
like,
being ignored, man. It's
yes,
being
yeah,
ignored. Like these guys are not just turning uh a profit, right? They are scaling tremendously and they're doing it with basically no spending.
yes.
Like
That's
like
the good part.
the amount of spending that Meta is doing caused the price to tank,
I saw those
right?
new glasses and like the metaverse and all this
Oh
stuff. And I'm
god, dude,
like, bro,
did you see the Snapchat glasses, bro?
oh, they're so ugly,
They're
dude. Oh
so
my
ugly, bro.
god, dude, who would wear that?
Fucking
Short
man.
snap to the ground. No, I mean that thing's
Dude,
been demolished. The company.
dude, it's
They're not.
it's because it's garbage,
Yeah,
right?
they're
I
not.
mean,
No, what they're doing isn't helping. And then like, I don't know if this whole like glasses thing is even going to work out. So it's like, I feel like
no,
it's a big gamble. Like I'm not going to put
no,
glasses on
uh,
my head, and it's not going to replace my
no,
iPhone or anytime soon.
no. And
I'd rather buy like a BlackBerry than like a cool new BlackBerry.
it's funny. So I remember when they unveiled those glasses, Wall Street Bets, like literally my favorite subreddit, right? Wall Street Bets went fucking nuts, and they were commenting like, imagine like being told that you're gonna have like these futuristic cool glasses that can do all these things, like the X-ray specs that came
Yeah.
in cereal boxes that you could mail out a check to get, and then it's like then they come in and it's just a picture of the CEO wearing the glasses. I was like, fuck, man. Like when the future sucks, like
But that's just the kind of stuff where it's like the loony technology that we've seen kind of along the way, like during even the dot-com bubble and stuff that didn't survive. It's like we're going to see a lot of that during this AI revolution.
and absolutely. And is there a spot where maybe like some smart glasses can actually do something? Yeah, totally. I
Yeah,
mean, I could
for
see
sure.
that. I could see that being a thing. But what you have to
Snapchat's not going
realize,
to
but
make them.
Snapchat's not going to make them, right? So
Yeah.
so what I think we have to realize as like, again, right? The difference is, this is like comparing Boston Dynamics robots to a fucking Roomba. Okay. Like, are they both
You're right. No, you're right.
technically robotics? Yeah,
That's a good
but
analogy.
one of them is
Like
like,
OG,
one
one
of
of
them
those
is really really smart. It can do a bunch of crazy things, right? It can think on its own, and the other one is a Roomba. The other
and
one
my
gets,
Roomba still glitches out. Like it
dude, it
doesn't even
literally,
clean my floor right. I'm like,
no,
bro.
dude, they just sit in the fucking corner bouncing against the
And I'm
wall
like
like
that. I
it's
remember that
useless.
I Robot stock, man, that thing got
They got beat
demolished to
up, bro.
zero.
That
Yeah.
thing got beat up, man. I
Anyone
remember
who
that
bought
one.
that falling knife,
You
like,
remember
oh, but
what
that's
was
the
the other
thing.
one? What was the other one that people bought? Rich Robotics.
Oh man, Rich
Dude,
Robot.
they got rug pulled so hard.
Also but that's something interesting that maybe we can touch on real quick is the robotics thing, because um Jensen Huang of Nvidia is always saying that
It's
robotics is
coming.
next. It's coming.
It's
But like
next.
what you have companies like Boston Dynamics or Tesla or other players that are bigger that obviously have invested more and they have probably a better product. But then it's like all these small companies and stuff, they might run on the hype, but I don't think there's going to be that many winners in the robotic space because it's a very difficult space.
It's like the most difficult, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's even more difficult than AI because you have to integrate AI into the robotics, right?
correct. And they
But
got to be like a use case for them, and either in your house
absolutely,
or something, and then it has to be
it has
safe.
to
It
be
has to,
affordable. It has to be
yeah,
safe,
that's a
right?
lot of things. And
Like,
it make a product like that. That's
and it has to be durable, right? No
that's
one's going to buy a robot that's going to die in 6
yeah, you
months.
can't be
Like,
losing money with all these
yeah,
EVs. I've seen like with after Tesla made the Model S, and then Lucid came, and all these like people were just losing money. Rivian and everyone, they were losing money selling these cars, and I'm like, what are you trying to do then? Like if you're never profitable, you have no point, dude.
I
It's
I
the point of a
I can't
business.
even answer that because I don't know what they're trying to do.
They're
I
just trying to
remember
be cool, I don't know, by losing billions of
I
dollars,
remember
So,
when Lucid and Rivian came out and everyone was like, "Oh man, this is the next Tesla and they're going to be the future." And I'm like, they have succeeded in building the world's most expensive prototype.
yeah.
That's it.
And they're
Like
losing like 200K a car. When I heard that about Lucid, I was like,
what
what?
are we doing, dude? What are we
And they're
talking about?
paying the Rawlinson, the CEO, like $500 million a year. I was like, bro,
Now
that's,
see, now you just hit on the purpose of that company.
yeah, exit
That
liquidity for
company
that
that
dude,
company is a way to get exit liquidity
steal
for the
retail's money.
institutional investor.
Yeah.
So speaking of exit liquidity, I think it's time to talk about
Oh
SpaceX.
God. Okay. All right. We'll talk
Let's
about it.
talk let's talk about SpaceX. Let's talk about SpaceX. So this has been a really interesting saga so far.
Look at that. It looks like a rocket, dude. The start. It really does. It looks like it went straight up and went straight back down. It looks like a straight up like SpaceX
so
rocket.
so it's funny because you and I we talked about SpaceX before the launch, right? No pun intended.
And we
But
knew it was going to go up. We
we
were both
knew it was going to go up. So I thought it was going to gap up a lot harder, right? And I thought we were going to see a whole lot more volatility. Um, and I scalped it on the
for a
upside, like I
moment
said that
there,
I
it looked
would.
like it was going to just keep going up, right? Like for a
Hmm.
moment there, we were like, just kept going up, like the first couple of days. And we were like, I was like, is this going to end? Is it going to beat Nvidia's market
But
cap?
but
But
we
then
but we
it's
knew that eventually that this was going to happen,
for
right?
sure. Mhm.
And we didn't know where it would drop to, right? Who knew if it was going to go to 500 and drop to 3, right? It ended up going up to like 225,
230
dropping
and
down back towards 150.
correct.
It actually wicked below yesterday. It wicked below the the like
The
opening
opening
price on
position. Yeah.
IPO day, right? Where it opened up at
Maybe
150.
a good time to enter, but then again, like I think it's short. It's not selling. It's short pressure, right? Because it's like there's no way this is selling because people are locked up still. So it's more.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
more.
so
This is people. Institutional shorting is why I think this is going.
correct.
Yeah.
I think so too. And that could be to hedge like a long call position, right? So you long calls, you short shares,
Mhm.
boom, like that short position,
It's a
that's
good
your
spot.
hedge, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So I think that this could be a decent spot. Um and what was really interesting? So these guys did a $20 billion senior note offering yesterday.
Like right after the IPO.
Right after the IPO, right? Right after the IPO, they're
Wild.
like, we're gonna buy Cursor AI, and then we're gonna offer for 20 billion. And
Yeah.
apparently, those notes were oversubscribed to the point that they had $95 billion worth of people, like, or worth of notional value that wanted to come in and buy these notes, and they just sold the 20 billion of them. So I like I'm just a little curious on where this goes, right? Because clearly there is demand for it. And again, I think that going forward in the future, I think this is going to be just a really needed company, right?
100%.
It's just
The valuation.
today.
Yeah, and like is it? I think it's in my opinion, it's going to barcode around like between 140 to 180, maybe 200 tops. Like if there's a really euphoric moment, I don't think it's going to, unless there's some massive news in the next like couple of months or something that you could see a huge spike. But I think we're going to see a barcode for a while. I,
Absolutely.
I think that it is a good long term investment, but it's something that you need to kind of be patient and wait for
You're gonna
the
have to be
stock
real
to really
fucking
get,
patient.
yeah, wait for it to get it could go lower. It could go. I'm not. This thing can go to like 150 there. I really think so. And when that lockup period expires, some of those insiders will be selling, and that's going to be the time where it's like, if you see the thing plunge, like I remember when Tesla plunged, and it just, Elon was talking smack, and that's what I'm hoping for, is Elon starts talking shit, gets all, pisses Trump
Gets all
off,
riled up.
shit,
That'd
whatever,
be great.
much special K, whatever he does, and then he ends up,
Special K.
yanking the company. The insider lockup period expires. This thing goes to 50 a share, and then you just go balls deep and as much as you can, and I mean, that's not a bad strategy,
Yeah,
and
no, that's a very sound
100 a
strategy.
share, and I mean, I'm sitting pretty. I mean, I know Tesla's not doing great, but I'm saying, like, still, I bought it so low that I'm like, okay, I'm okay.
Why would you ever sell it? Yeah.
No.
Like,
So
there's
yeah,
no
I
point.
think that it's Elon, it's space, it's got the cool factor to it, but at the same time, for a new investor, I would still be very cautious to say, hey, like, this thing's, you're not going to buy this thing and it's going to double next week. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to find some, and that's where I'm like, the smaller cap space companies are looking more and more attractive. They went down when SpaceX IPO was there, and SpaceX is going up, and now SpaceX is going down, and they're going down again. So it's like they're just getting crushed, and
Absolutely.
I mean, the narrative hasn't changed. Yes, they're overvalued. I kind of said this before in our previous talks that, if these stocks come down to those buying levels, scale in a little bit, buy, if you like the company, buy a little bit and just hold it, and then if it goes, you have to be able to hold a stock for a 20 to 30% loss, or even more, if you really believe in it, and not sweat about it and be like, hey, this thing's going to come back one day.
And one of the big things there, that I will say will help with that is having the correct positioning size, right? So if you go balls deep and you're all in on a stock, you are going to be so sensitive and depressed if it goes down, and you're going to be so euphoric to the point where you will be foolish if it goes up. So one of the really big things that I try to stress to people is that in order to control your emotions, to control yourself, to keep that part of your humanity in check, right? Take smaller positions. Like, no stock should be 50-60% of your portfolio. It damn sure shouldn't be 100, right? I mean, even if you're saying like, oh, the stock is 10% of my portfolio, like, realize that is pretty aggressive,
Very.
and
No, it is.
and there's nothing wrong with being aggressive, especially if you're young and you have, the time to wait, and you have the time to be wrong and rebuild, right? If you're in your 20s, 30s, if you're fucking 18, like, dude, you got time. But that doesn't mean that you should throw all of it on black in the casino. That makes zero fucking sense.
That's what these newer investors do, though, right? Isn't it?
It is, right? I mean, the YOLOs are cool. They
want
to be a millionaire overnight, and it's just.
But it's either that they're gambling. Then go to Vegas. Then
Literally,
the market is not. They've turned the market into more of a gambling.
It's been gamified, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a smart investor and if you have experience, then you can almost use that to your advantage, and you can make good money with, swing trading, day trading, buying puts and calls, whatever you do. I'm saying there's so many methods to make money. So
I mean, that's what I did this morning, right? With Wendy's, right? Like,
I mean, you
ended up buying calls.
Wendy's, like,
made 40%, and I did nothing. Like, it took 5 minutes.
And I mean, even if you could have made 400%, 40% is still beautiful, because it's like, you made it off of Wendy's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
well, and it's funny because my entire thesis for like why Wendy's is going up, it had nothing to do with the company. It had nothing to do with the financials. It had nothing to do with any of that. My entire thesis was, I see a bunch of people that are really excited to buy this shitty company. So I want to go stand in their way and sell it to them at a higher price.
That's
right?
beautiful.
Like, it is,
that works.
It is the greater fool theory, right? Is that there is always a greater fool, right?
No.
And if you don't know like who the exit liquidity is, it's probably you.
Yep.
It's you. Like, it is what it is. It's a dog world out here, man.
You're able to see what's going to happen. It's like having that crystal ball, maybe a little bit, and being able to, having that foresight. I mean, obviously you're not going to be right all the time, But I'm saying if you've seen this pattern play out before, you know, it's probably going to happen again,
You know,
and that's the thing where it's like, if you know what you're doing and you know how to, play these stocks, then you could do like incredible. And I've seen it, and I've seen people that, and it's the, what you said, it's the way you feel about the stock. It's the sentiment of the stock. It's not just the fundamentals and the chart and everything. It's like, if there's a lot of hype there and this thing is pent up, it's going to freaking go up. Like,
you know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit is what we were trading when you and I first met was Beyond, right? Beyond Meat, which was like one of the most fun trades ever.
Yeah, no, it was a beautiful trade, but it's just
Yeah,
a crappy company.
yeah, it was a shitty company, dude. And
Yeah.
look where they are now. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to see the future of what all of this
Dude, they're
always
making
ends up?
drinks now, right? I saw they're making like Beyond drinks. They've gotten so desperate.
Like,
They're
brother,
making like a protein drink that's like a soda or something. I'm like, dude, that's just odd.
I don't even know, bro. I don't even
They're
know.
trying though.
I
They're
literally
trying.
I literally don't even pay
It's
attention.
not gonna work. No one's gonna buy a Beyond Meat soda drink, So
Literally. Like I mean, you remember, like,
oh, I
dude, we
remember.
exited
That was
we
like,
exited at
was that like
basically the
on
fucking top.
October 22nd? Like that time, that spike right there?
Yes, it was.
That's
Exactly
crazy.
October 22nd. Yeah.
That's crazy because that's like the
So,
day of the whole
yep,
Stocktoberfest.
yep, it was
Just
the
a
second
coincidence.
day.
Yeah.
It was the second
And
day.
we told everyone, we were like, it's gonna go double or triple. And they were all like, we're not interested in this crap.
Oh, no, this is the third day. But yeah, no, people were like, "We're not interested."
We're not, yeah. And
And
then
then
and then
and
every
then it
and then
happened and everyone was like, "Yo, how the fuck
oh,
did you
how did this
know?"
happen? Like, y'all, you heard of Beyond? We're like, oh God, like y'all
And
were
it's funny
calling us
because, like,
fools yesterday, but
yeah, like literally you were talking mad shit and then we
yeah.
18x and you're
And then we
asking us
kind of
about it
told you this
and
is
it's
just
like,
gonna go
"Yo,
triple.
dude, I'm already out." Like, the fuck? Like,
But
I'm
no,
not
you're
holding
right.
this garbage.
That is very reminiscent, and I think that we're going to see a lot more of that, especially with the way the market conditions are and the type of companies we have. Some getting destroyed, some getting pumped. New investors coming in, and it's a crazy sea to navigate all of this stuff. But if you're able to do it correctly, and you're able to see the patterns, I mean, there is a lot to be made and a lot to come. So
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps up everything except for this last thing. I'm going to be real brief on SLS. You know, I am eyeing it for a breakout right now.
What is it?
So
What is it now? Around like
894.
Oh wow, it'll pop back up then.
Yeah, pop back up. Yeah. So it's kind of on the edge of a breakout. Right now I'm not in a trade. Like, I have my investment here, but I'm not in a trade. Now, if let's say that we go above like 950, I am probably going to be scalping the shit out of $10 calls. And literally just like playing off the breakout, right?
Yeah.
Um, like the uptrend very much intact, right? We kind of saw the same thing play out right here, right? Where, you got that initial pop and then kind of like a little,
I feel like it's
a
just
little dip down, a
consolidating around
little
8 or 9
lull,
right
right?
now.
And then it curls and then boom, you start to get that second run, right? So we're getting that same pattern that we've seen play out over and over again. I mean, we saw it
Yeah.
play out here, right? We saw it play out here. We saw the same thing happen here, right? And now we're seeing it again. So,
It might have
this
another swing up in the next, 3 months or so or less,
well, even the next few weeks potentially. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right.
it could happen in the next few days, right? Like, it's hard to say.
But
And
that's why it's good
obviously,
to hold, because that's why you don't know. You don't know.
exactly.
It's good to hold some. I'm not
But
saying go all in, but I'm saying to have some shares is not a bad feeling, especially if you bought them at
absolutely.
sub $2, which because of you I did.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly, right?
I
But
sold
I'm
some of it, but I still have some, and I'm happy.
yeah,
So
and that's perfect. I mean, that's how we're supposed to do it, right? So when I'm looking at this though, I'm seeing like there's a potential breakout, and pardon me. And if we can get that confirmation of the breakout, right? Like, then I mean, this thing can make a pretty sizable move, and capturing that with like short dated calls. I mean, that can potentially be like an explosive gain.
for sure,
So
because that's how the stock moves. It moves up like 30, 40, 50% type moves. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't trickle up. It just rips through the roof. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
pretty
saying?
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And we're waiting on the 80th patient death. So that realistically, like that should be happening relatively soon. Like
I think
it's
in the second half, or even like maybe even, yeah, the second half of this year, I think that the healthcare stocks, drug companies, companies like, that have to do with health, they're the ones that are going to start to see the benefits coming back to them.
absolutely. And bios have really been beat down since COVID. Like
So
as
bad.
as a whole, like that
Six
sector has
years,
just been
5, 6 years have been
it
beat
has
down
just been
almost.
just destroyed.
Hmm.
So, really interesting to see this. And again, right, like when you see a sector that's starting to emerge, and you see the trend starting to emerge in the sector, you see the inflow into that sector. Right, one of the best things that you could do is you go and you find your leaders. Right, who
Hmm.
is leading the pack? Who's gaining the most? Your leaders are leading for a reason. Right, so
They may not
yeah,
have the craziest upside as the smaller ones, but they're more stable and they're better companies and they
yep,
still have upside. So it's like
absolutely,
investing in those is kind of like, that's a good, like, solid backbone base. And then I go to like the smaller cap companies that are more risky, and I put most of my money, if I'm investing in that sector, and into the big dogs, and then I put this, a small amount into the more risky companies. And some of the risky companies, you might lose a couple $1,000, it might go tenfold. And
yeah,
that strategy,
especially in bio.
especially in bio, you got FDA
Yeah.
approval, you got some new, like, I have this definitive, or it's medicine. Mind Medicine was the company, and
Oh,
it turns into,
yeah.
so, and I bought that like 5 years ago. My average is around like $20 a share, and I was bag holding it, and then it broke out. Now it's at $40 a share.
That's
They had a
the mushroom one,
LSD.
right?
They have an LSD, some research going on with
Yeah, okay.
with
Yeah, 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 yeah,
psychedelics.
yeah.
And I mean, I sold some around 40 because I'm like, yo, like, what if this thing dumps again?
I
I'm
think
still
it's
holding.
going to.
I think it is
I
too.
think it's going to.
I'm
Like,
gonna sell. I
so
might just sell the whole thing because I'm doubled up. I bag hold it for 5 years. I didn't sell it out, and then now I put in 5K. I'm doubled up, so I'm like, why
you
not
might
just
as well, dude.
take my
Honestly,
5K and run?
or at
Even if
least
you're saying LSD is not a runaway train, I'll put it that way. You know what I mean? Like, it
no,
has more potential to go back down real quick, than keep going
it
up.
does. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I remember when that news came out and everyone's like, "Oh, like all these psychedelic drug companies, like they're going to make all this money." It's like, well, no, it's still illegal, right?
It's
All
still holding a
all
22% gain today,
all
which is
that the government has done is said, you know what, we are okay in a very small, very small niche treatment. We are okay to test it on a handful of people and learn about the effects.
yes.
There's nothing
It's
that's
not. I
saying that
mean,
it's going to get
for
legalized, right?
somebody who has that experience with psychedelics personally, I'm just saying that, like, I don't see how you could market it in the sense of like create a drug out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense.
So, anyways, next we're going to legalize crack, and there's some
And we'll call like a
it's
stock ticker crack, and
it's really good for narcolepsy. Because
it might have some health
like
benefits.
some health benefit. Yeah, let me get some medicinal crack, please, government.
Hey man,
You
this world
know,
is crazy, bro.
this
Like,
world is getting crazy.
yeah,
But yeah,
it's just
so
so true.
anyways, I think right, you buy the leaders, and SLS is one of the leaders in biotech right now, right?
Yeah, be
Are they one
careful.
of the biggest ones? No, but
They're high risk, high reward, but like you said, they've underperformed in the last 5 years so poorly that I think that inevitably we will see a massive. I think that's one of the next sectors to really go. And I mean, I've been saying this for probably like a year. So I mean,
yeah, same.
I'm not gonna keep just keep saying that drug companies are going to become the future and then they're going to keep going up and whatever. But at some point, the tension will break and these companies will get into focus again and people will turn to
Absolutely.
them, and that's going to create a massive shift where healthcare is going to come back into the scope of things, and these companies will rise and they'll rise fast. And I mean, this is the time where you can kind of say, hey, if you see something good like SLS, or you see some other drug companies that you like or bigger ones, maybe start a small
And
position on a big dip.
if you want just like the broad exposure to the sector, right? There's nothing wrong with just saying, you know, I'm going to buy some XBI, right? I'm going to buy literally the sector ETF for biotech.
That's a
Like,
great piece of advice for like a
right?
newer investor. They don't know.
It's like buying IWM, right? Like you think small
Beautiful.
caps are going to pop off,
That is a
so you
great
buy IWM,
That's a
right?
great because like for especially for people that don't want to spend the time doing all the research because I get it, it's overwhelming,
It's a
it's
lot.
stressful, and you got to
And
get into like
biotech is extra
you got to
difficult
become like
because
a doctor, like a meta, you
mhm.
have to like know about you got to like
so
research stuff,
so
So
it's funny because like the reason that I uh like tend to do well with bios and that I tend to pick good bios isn't because of my knowledge, right? It's because I have 3 friends that are doctors and I will just fucking bombard them with stupid questions and then they'll answer it and I'm like, "Can you dumb it down a little bit?" And then they
yeah.
answer it and I'm like, "Sick. Now explain it to me like I'm actually stupid." And then I get it and I'm like, "Oh, okay, like, you know, that's potentially cool, right?"
No,
So,
I mean, you could get that's a really good way to kind of get to gauge, the state of what's going on and, what can happen in the future. And I'm saying that I've done the same thing. Like, you have to talk to people in the field and they're going to speak a different language than you, but tell them to speak to you like you're a toddler or a 5-year-old, and then they'll explain it to you correctly. And you might actually learn something that you can make like they're good at medicine. We're financial people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
yeah,
we take their knowledge and we can turn it into money. We turn it into
absolutely.
investments. We turn it into great long-term, stock buys, and
Absolutely.
that's the goal for us. So I think that there's a lot of good things to come in the drug space for sure.
Yeah. No, very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. Well, I think that we've covered everything that I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about. Um, you know, wrapping up in just a second here,
Mhm.
Moji, you have one piece of advice to give to new investors.
Mhm.
What is it?
So my piece of advice for new investors is that don't I think one of your things that you had mentioned earlier was don't go all in and don't buy companies that you don't know about. Now,
Absolutely.
a lot of new, and even when I was a new investor, I would buy companies. Oh, I see Google or I see Amazon or I see whatever, but those are bigger companies then. But even smaller companies, I would see them and I would say, hey, like, I'm just going to buy this because everyone else is buying it, And I'm saying that's what I see people doing as
And
new
that's a
investors.
trap.
Even with Wendy's, for example. Oh, then they see, oh, it has an 8P ratio. It's going to turn around. I love Wendy's, and then they buy the stock and then it goes down 50% and they're like, oh, what have I done? And they're selling it for a loss. And then, they're a disaster. So I'm saying like, the first thing that I think as a new investor you need to do is your research. And it's like if you're not willing to do that research, then don't invest, in my opinion. And
Correct.
if
Or
because
just stick to
stick to
indexes,
the
right?
index funds. Stick to the
Yeah,
index funds. Then,
absolutely.
then it's like you can just go along with the rest of the big. And that's a good piece of advice. If you don't have the time to do it, if you have you're busy with your job or your family or something, then go with the index funds and you'll be great. But I'm saying if you have that extra time and you want to learn about investing, get on X, get on Reddit, get on different. There's so many resources out there for people.
Hop in the NASDAQ Discord.
Hop in the Nasdaq Discord.
You
Come
know,
watch Caleb and me
yeah,
talk.
right?
Like
Totally.
there's so many resources where it's like I feel like people need to utilize these resources, and then you can do phenomenal. Like what you said, sometimes the writing is on the wall for a stock, and
Mhm.
people, oh, they doubt themselves, they skip it, and then like the stock goes down 5%, they start to shake. Oh no, I can't take this loss. I'm losing money, and they sell it, and then the thing moons 100%. And I'm saying, so
Absolutely.
it's like it's a mixture of intelligence and patience. That's the two things
Absolutely.
that I got to tell for new investors. And a lot of these newbies, they're just like they're trying to get rich quick. It's not like a scheme, but it's like that's the way they think.
And
And
this is not that. That's the
get that
wrong
out
way
of
to
your
think
head,
about this. Yeah.
and 10 years, like you said, is not a long time, and 5 years, even short period. You should be able, if you want to put good money in a stock, you should have no problem holding it for 5 years. Right.
Absolutely.
Like if you
And
really believe in that company. And
and
if really, because then it's like if you don't, then don't invest in it. That's all.
literally. So that kind of reminds me of you know, an old Buffett quote where he was saying that he will not invest in something he doesn't understand.
Hmm.
Okay. And, there have been technologies that he has missed out on, right? Through the course of his career, a very long and storied, historic career. Okay.
Yes. I got him right behind
And
me. This is
there have
a
been
of Buffett.
exactly. I see. Now
He's
I
the
see it. That's
man, dude. I
hilarious.
love
Yeah,
Buffett.
dude,
He's
Buffett's my
OG. No one
favorite.
will
Buff
ever exist like him.
No, no,
So
I think he's once in a lifetime kind of guy, man.
yeah,
But you know, when you see someone that intelligent say, I don't understand the technology, so I'm not going to invest in it. And you know what? Does he miss out on that run? Sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
Does
No
he care?
arguments here.
No, he
But
doesn't.
does he care? No.
Not at all.
Because he has his fingers in so many other baskets, right?
Correct.
Like, and not only, was he very good at diversifying and very good at identifying these companies, um, more than anything, he was good at holding them.
Correct. And that's the hardest thing to do is just to hold, which
Absolutely.
it's the easiest and the hardest thing to do because it's
Absolutely.
you can just forget about your stock and hold it. When you see something going parabolic, you're like, I don't want to lose these gains. I'm going to take profit. And the thing just keeps going up. And it's like you look back and in hindsight, you're like, man, I should have just held it. It's all I could have just tied my hands
Nvidia.
outside and I would have been a millionaire.
Yep.
And I think that's one thing where it's like, as an investor, you have to realize it's time, patience, intelligence. And that's what Buffett's, those are his main things is like, he's like, you gotta have the conviction, you gotta have the time. And time is on Buffett's side. I mean, that's why he did so well. That's what investors need to realize. Fortunes are not made overnight. They're made over decades of conviction.
Absolutely.
But the amount of money that you can make is mind-boggling. It's not $1 million, it's millions of dollars if you have that conviction.
Yeah.
So I think
And
that's
that patience.
and read Warren Buffett. If you're a new investor, that's the guy who I would tell new investors if they want to get information is like go out and read his books, read his quotes.
I would say read the annual shareholders letters.
The annual shareholder meeting.
God, dude, those are so
And
great.
like what you
They're
said
so
about
good.
diversification, I think that's the pillar of a good investor is knowing that, hey, like how you said you hold like a Coca-Cola position and stuff like
I
that.
love
It's
Coke,
like,
yeah.
that's the thing. It's like, that's why I liked you. It's like, you're not just talking about, buying more risky stuff. You have your core position.
You
And
have to.
as a new investor, you have to have that core position or you're going to get cooked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're going to get screwed. You're going to say like, you're going to be holding all, high beta tech stocks or, volatile stocks. And then, some huge downturn will happen and you'll get completely cooked and shafted. And then the dude holding Coca-Cola and McDonald's and, all these names that are like, the stable companies, they're going to be fine. We're going to be, we're down 15, 20%. Well, you're down 60, 70%. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to be, so it's like, that's where I'm like risk management, diversification, information, and be patient. Patience. So absolutely. Yeah, I know that's a lot of advice for a new investor, but that's kind of what I have to say.
But go back and rewind that and watch it again. No, but seriously, no, it's great advice. Great advice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, again, Moji, as always, a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
No, I love to be. I think me and you flow really good.
I think so too.
Keep
I mean, that's why I keep texting you, and I'm like, yo, bro, come on, let's do it again. Dude,
I've been having a really stressful time with my family and stuff, but we're having a good time too. It's just like my son started walking. He's
getting into everything.
14 months, yeah, and like, oh my god, he's getting everything, dude. And I gotta like baby proof the whole house, and it's like,
yep,
I don't want him to get hurt. He's like falling and stuff. It's so adorable, but it's just like a lot of things.
It's a lot.
But I mean, I'm so excited to come on the show.
Dude, we always have such a good time.
Speak with you. So I can't wait to do it again in the future. But
absolutely, brother. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Leave some comments in there. If you haven't joined the NASDAQ Discord, make sure you do that. I talk every day for 2 hours every morning for all of our subscribers. So come on in, get some live trades, get some signals, right? And be sure to tune in next week. Same time, same place, right here on the Father of Trades channel. This is Midweek Mayhem, and I will see you.